Oseo.
Oseo.
Cherokee greeting. The theme today is a very famous but very tiny being, the ant. And the ant in Native America is legion for a long time. A little bit on who the ant is. The ant came here onto the surface of the earth 130 million years ago with the dinosaur. The ant is virtually ageless. The ant has not changed one iota since the ants first appeared here. Native Americans have been living here in Turtle Island for the past million years. In that million years, the stars have been a constant guide and source, and so have the ants. So you can see the stars and the ants all go together. The culture of the ants in Native America is quite extensive. The ants themselves in their worlds and their nations is also quite extensive. It's really amazing, as much as we would think of our modern human world today. To try and put that in simple words would be like to talk about the world or history of the ants. There are many, many different kinds of ants. And it's even been computed. If we took all the human beings on the earth and weighed how much weight we are on the earth, the ants would weigh the same as we do on this earth. Isn't that something? All the ways that the ants have been a part of Native American culture in terms of healing or curing, there are many healing ceremonials that involve the ants, including making a medicine with living ants. One of them that I saw is to make like an earthen bowl and put a medicine, a lotion in that, and the person has collected little ants out there in one of those little sun-made raisins boxes they used to get like that, and sprinkle those ants into that bowl of lotion. And then the ants will swim out to the edges and go down, and the bowl is surrounded with pollen. And then when they go through the pollen, they are being blessed. The ants are then picked up with a pinch of sand or dirt and finally taken outside. Another one of the ants is the Yaquis ceremony. These are ceremonial rattles. They're made of caterpillar cocoons that are plucked off the bushes in the desert in Sonora. And what you hear in there are garnets. The ant people push up garnets onto the ant hills, and the Yaquis collect those garnets and put them here into the rattles. You can hear that. I was introduced to the ant culture by way of the Cherokee, where called Ani-Awin, the ant people. In Navajo, there's not a single word for ant. There's like 35 words for ant. And then there's all of the words that individuals have in their encounters with ants. We lived in Arizona, and Vivian and her young daughter Nivy living there with us, and Nivy struck up a relationship with an ant in our showerless bathroom. It was a large, dark red ant who patrolled regularly and singularly, and she gave that ant the name Crumb. So also, people who have individual encounters with ants give them individual names like that. Gina Dickinson also, we were some time ago on the Horse Thief Canyon Trail out here in the backcountry, and she stopped right there in the trail and was in a total beholding apparition of the ant. And I did a painting for her of that, which she has there at her house. I haven't heard of anybody, directly having a spirit, ant spirit, but the ants are so pervasive, through our culture. In Mexico, in modern times, it's been unearthed these huge stone heads, humanoid heads. They're referred to by the name Olmec heads. And people think that they resemble, the features resemble West Africans. They might resemble Filipinos and other people. But they actually are, they're red ant people sculpture. The red ants fashioned these for the chieftains in their nation. The ants are also very quarrelsome people. And here I have a horny toad here to symbolize. In the ancient Celts, what the druid is to the ancient Celts, the horny toad is to the quarrelsome ants. The ants are so quarrelsome that they need a mediator. So he's a guide, and he is knowledge, and he's also a restorer, because they tend to almost exterminate themselves with their warfare about that. So, you know, these are some of the things. There are thousands of ruins we call Anasazi ruins in the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. Some of these are the people attributed to the ant people, and the ant people still occupy some of those places. So there are some of the things that I can remember. Down here in my display, I have the red ant. The red ant is mainly the chief of the surface ants. The black ant is definitely the ruler of the underworld, and he's also called Mirage Boy. But this is the red ant chief, and he's holding a mahogany bow with a quiver of little arrows. In a healing ceremony, this is actually given to a patient, because the bow and arrows kind of thing are also weapons of the red ant. However, in mediating, the horny toad, as he was, had them bury the hatchet. And this is very reminiscent of the Iroquois story in the Northeast America. Iroquois were also very, very quarrelsome and almost exterminated themselves until Takanaweda, the peace chief, appeared among them and had them, you know the phrase, to bury the hatchet. So the horny toad did very similar with the quarrelsome ants and their weapons. Also, there is a little ant here. It's usually called yellow ant. This is the female ant, and she's on her self-colored ant hill. And there is a branch for that, a chantway branch for the female ant. I'm trying to put it that way. And I have an offering bowl down there, and then I have a kind of a little teepee there that you'll hear something of in the piece I'm going to read right now. This is a inside portrait of some ants. And in it, this piece, you'll hear of the gift of the red stone. The red stone is a wild plum, so I put it this way. A wild plum has a pit in the center, and this pit is the red stone. In modern times, the name, the red stone, is used for a driver's license. In ancient times, it was used in ancient gambling. I can't tell you how. But here. Now, Ani red antway. The red young men under the ground, decorated with red feathers, at the center of a teepee-shaped house. I gave them a beautiful red stone. When someone does the same for me, I'll walk this red earth. From deep under the earth, they're starting off. The old men under the earth are starting off. They are decorated with red feathers and starting off at the center of the teepee-shaped house. They're starting off because I gave them a beautiful red stone. They're starting off. When someone does the same for me, I'll walk this red road like them. And starting off on the good red road, and on this road, Chunkaluta, we are together, starting off. From deep under the earth, we're starting off. Yo-hey-hey, 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 hey-hey. Bueno. This was part one.